Hi, everybody. Welcome to Unscripted Violence, your premier podcast for independent pro wrestling. It's me, Stagger Lee, and we are very happy to have Big John G with us today. He hails from Louisville, Kentucky. He's one of the big guys, man, and you've been all over the place. Uh, from what you sent me in all these different promotions,
Oh yeah.
and how uh, I one thing that stuck out to me was you worked with Mid South,
Oh,
and
IWA.
yeah, and that's a pretty big promotion. How was it working with them?
uh, I mean, it was your typical IWA experience. I was there.
Nice.
I did one show with old Ian, and then shortly after they closed the doors. So
Wow. Wow. Well, I I've watched a few of your matches. You're just like what I would say a straight up brawler.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I like that, especially in a big wrestler like yourself. So what inspired you to become a pro wrestler, and like who are your biggest influences?
I was a big fan of like Shawn Michaels and Jeff Hardy. Growing up, I loved Shawn Michaels' attire, like just his dangly earrings, his long hair, all
Yes.
that. And then Jeff Hardy was just like over the top and everything. So I was a big fan of them. And then I started wrestling like right after the college I was attending to play football filed bankruptcy and closed down. So then right after that, I started training to wrestle and been wrestling ever since.
That's awesome. Could you walk us through like your training process and how you got started in the industry?
Yeah, so there's the small town of Kentucky that I'm from. The small town in Kentucky that I'm from. There's a promotion there named the World Wrestling Alliance. The owner is Chris Waddell, and I was my supervisor at work was actually a referee for him, and so he actually got me a like basically like a meeting with Chris. And so I started selling merchandise, like not even training to wrestle or anything. And so my friend Ray Waddell actually persuaded me into training to wrestle. And so we would train every Saturday before shows. But when we set up on Fridays, we would train for a couple hours then too. So about Fridays and Saturdays, and I would say Uh, about a good 6 months of training, and then I debuted on shows. And of course, I still trained after that. I trained with Ray and them for a little bit, and then I started training with Larry D at his school in Kentucky. And then I was fortunate enough to get paired up with Jake Christ, and so I traveled with him for a little bit and learned from him from on the road. So,
Nice, and I like that because I also trained in Kentucky. I trained in Russellville with the guy in his
oh yeah.
backyard. Yeah, Crazy Joe. He was a jobber for a long time, and uh, that got me excited to talk to you.
Oh yeah.
So what was your first big break in the industry? Like how that shape your career?
Um, I would say whenever I started training with Larry, Larry was real big on me like branching out from the one promotion I was working and traveling, and so I probably went. I did go about it the wrong way. I should have went more professionally when I left the World Wrestling Alliance, but when I left
Right.
and started traveling, I feel like that was my big break because then I was all over the U.S. So.
That's awesome. And I mean, did anything draw you particularly to the indie circuit, or were you just trying to like cut your teeth like most of us did?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just just trying to have fun and make some money. Like I love wrestling, and I was fortunate enough to travel a lot of different states. So ultimately, like I just wanted to have something to do on the weekends.
Yeah, and how do you balance, like you mentioned traveling? How do you balance the traveling and performing on the indie scene while managing, other aspects of your life?
Um, for me personally, I feel like you have to have like a good like home foundation. So luckily, I'm
Right.
I'm blessed to have an amazing fiance that keeps me straight. She'll always correct me when I'm doing something wrong.
They always do, don't they?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That Yeah, it's great to have support like that. Um, so, what are some of your favorite indie promotions to work with, and why?
Um, well, I'm a big fan of Spartan Wrestling in Gadsden, Alabama. I feel like their whole setup and production is top tier. Uh,
Nice.
they they run out of an old movie theater.
Oh, that sounds cool, actually.
Oh, it's not bad at all. Um, I'm a big fan of King of Sports in Texas. They're like an old territory company. Um, Real old school. I really like that. Um, this is Manly in Texas. I'm a big fan of them.
Hmm.
Uh, just because they run like local like bar shows, and I've actually got a show there tomorrow for a retro con. Um, so they do like little like spot shows, and
Okay.
then probably like my new home promotion would be Advanced Pro Wrestling, also in Texas, and it's just got like a good locker room vibe. Like everybody there makes you feel like a family. So
That's always important to have a good locker room atmosphere, I think, because that can throw you off your game if
oh
it's
yeah,
not.
oh yeah. If you don't have a good locker room, then nobody really wants to go out there and have a good match.
Yeah, they tend not to want to work with each other, and a lot of,
Yeah.
how it goes. Um, so I was kind of unclear while watching your matches. I picked you as a heel. Uh, what's your character's persona and backstory?
Uh, like my character is just like a big like biker heel, So that's pretty much it. Just like a big biker, take no BS heel.
Yeah, that comes across. Have you ever worked as a baby face, and which would you prefer?
Yeah. I work as a babyface not often, but I do. Um, Honestly, I prefer being a heel more.
Yeah, that's usually what everybody, almost I'd say, and correct me if you think I'd say about 75% of pro wrestlers really have fun being a heel more than a baby face, because I think it's harder work. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's a whole lot harder being a babyface. But if
Yeah,
you if you if you're a good heel, then being a babyface wouldn't be hard because you already know like what the crowd wants to see.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Uh, so far out of your career, what would be like your favorite match you've had to date?
Um, Me and Jake Christ actually tagged in a barn in Indiana during COVID against Rhino and some random mask guy that they put in there. Um, That would honestly probably be my favorite match to date.
Nice. How
With this,
was Rhino? How was he to work with?
oh, he was amazing. Like everything about him, he was super chill about everything, and didn't mind didn't mind me beating him up. So.
Nice, nice. I really like the handicap match that that you showed me. Um,
Oh yeah, against Phil Noor in
yeah,
Texas.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Where you just destroyed him.
Oh yeah.
That was a good squash match. Do do you prefer singles, tags,
Uh, I really like singles more than tags.
and as far as your opinion, being in the indie scene, how do you see it evolving? Because there's a lot of changes happening pretty fast, if you ask me. Like there's a lot of progressions. What's your view of the changes, or any changes that you would like to see in indie wrestling?
I feel like we all still need to step up from the Me Too movement and make sure that all these sexual predators stay out of wrestling. I see all the time that a lot of cancel people want to try to get back into wrestling, and we really don't need that. We need to just keep going forward and make sure that wrestling's a safe space for everybody.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. What was it like? Was it last year where there was just a rash of so many offenders in wrestling? It was kind of heartbreaking at the same time for me to find that out. But I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I feel like once all that like works out, then indie wrestling is going to be top tier. Not saying it's not, but there's a lot of bad stuff going on that needs to be taken care of first.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, Now, if you could face any other wrestler, like past or present, who would it be? Who would be your top person?
Mm, I mean, there's a few. There's a few I would really like to go against Big Boss Man, Shawn
Oh yeah,
Michaels, Yokozuna, um, probably Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. And what is your opinion of Hulk Hogan today? I'm interested.
Today, I think he's a piece of crap, but wrestling wise,
I
he was a pretty decent wrestler.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. He's disappointed people so far, like lately, and I don't know. I think recently he re-signed with WWE in a Legends contract or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I wasn't really shocked. Um, what's your view of like mainstream wrestling uh, and the direction it's headed? And I mean, of course, everybody wants to get in this business and get to the very top, but what's your idea of like the what's your favorite company so far? Like is in mainstream wrestling, if you have one?
I'm actually a big fan of Impact. Like I
Yeah,
honestly prefer
yeah,
Impact over WB and AEW.
yeah. I enjoy Impact now and again. I haven't watched them too much lately, but I'll tune in every once in a while. And I mean, they got some great talent there.
Oh
I
yeah,
could see you in Impact. I could see you doing Impact. They need a
yeah. I
big
got a I
hoss
got a
in
few
there.
buddies that are in Impact right now.
Oh, nice. Uh, so, uh, And this is coming from my executive producer, my wife. She wants to know what your opinion of Mick Foley is.
Um, Not really a big fan of Mick Foley, but I love Dude Love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
No,
was a
I
great
mean Mick Foley's
character.
had he's had a I mean he's been able to create four characters and keep them all relevant. So that should tell you what kind of wrestler he is. You know,
Yeah,
some people can't even keep one relevant. He's managed to keep four of them.
I know it's crazy. I saw something the other day about Foley, and he was giving his opinion of politics, and then somebody commented. This was on Reddit. Somebody commented, "I wonder what Dude Love, Mankind, and Cactus Jack have to say about that." So I thought that was kind of funny. Um, do you have any other hobbies or interests outside of wrestling?
I like working out and yeah, working out and tanning, spending time with my fiance and my stepdaughter.
Nice. Um, what's the craziest thing that's happened to you in the ring?
The craziest thing that's happened to me. Um, so I told you that I was a big fan of Shawn Michaels. I was in a cage match one time, the first ever cage match I was in. I tried
Right.
to um, jump off the cage like Michaels would do, and hit like get thrown into the cage and act like Michaels. And
Right.
I ended up cutting my forehead open in the process. Oh, I also did a show one time and took a clothesline to the face and chipped one of my teeth.
Oh.
Yeah.
uh, from a clothesline.
Yeah, I went. So the guy hit me with the clothesline. He hit me too high with it and like caught me underneath the chin. And whenever my head went back, and when it did, I like uh, bit down and like ended up chipping my front tooth.
Ouch. Ouch. Uh, any crazy fans? Any crazy fan interactions?
Oh yeah. So there's this guy named Ian Powers in Kentucky, and he would message me for like the first 2 years that I wrestled. He would message me every day and tell me how much I sucked.
Hook, line, and sinker for him, huh?
Yeah, yeah. He told me that his horse could beat me in a match. Then he told me that I was wrestling on his birthday one year, and he was coming to the show, and he said that there was no way I was going to be able to beat him up because it was his birthday. So wrestling fans are one of a kind. Um, I worked a show one time in Kentucky, in Eastern Kentucky, over in the mountain areas, and there was this heavier set lady sitting in the front row. It was me and a guy named Jay Smooth against the Heat Seekers. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They were in NWA for a little bit.
The Heat Seekers. You
Matt
know,
Sigmund.
I believe so. Yeah, I haven't seen them for a bit.
Yeah, they're working like around the Eastern Tennessee area now.
Okay.
But I was a heel in a tag match against them, and there was this heavier set lady on the outside, and so I came out and I was talking some smack to the crowd, and I ended up just flipping her hat off her head, and it was like I told her whole family was dead or something. She went absolutely nuts.
I love the ringside Annies that do that too. That just it's it's so fun, and you making her go nuts. That's just showing that you're doing a great job.
Oh yeah, I ended up getting in trouble for it when I got to the back, but
Ah.
it's all right.
do you think do you think that independent wrestling itself will ever surpass like traditional promotions?
Um,
Because
like are you talking like?
you got like GCW. They're kind of coming up. You got well, Impact is. I think Impact's almost there. I mean, do you see more people coming to indie shows? Because I've heard varying opinions across the U.S. from different wrestlers.
Maybe. I mean, if they do it right, because wrestling's gonna uh, there's like a market for everybody, you know. So
Yeah, exactly.
it
Yeah,
just depends on like what market, what demographic they're going for.
and what's your stance on interpromotional competition and crossover events?
Uh, I feel like it's good if you can do it right. You know, if you can put on a good show and make sure everything works out good, I feel like it'll be all right. But I feel like a lot of people in wrestling have egos that they can't put to the side. So when that happens, I mean, there's no working on that. You know.
Right. Well, Big John, I appreciate you coming on the show and for your patience on me getting you on. I was really excited to have you. Um, can you let the listeners know where they can find you, where they can find some of your matches? Any?
Uh, so on YouTube, if you type in Big John G Wrestling, you can find a lot of my matches there. Um, I'm on Facebook, Big John G, uh, Instagram, X, Big John G. If you got the Roku channel on the DC network, APW Advanced Pro Wrestling down here in Texas, they have a show on there that I'm on too. So
Excellent.
the DC network on Roku.
And I recommend people watch you. You're, uh, I mean, you do have like a strong presence of like a big boss man, big Bubba type character to me.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I've been told
and
that a bunch. Even his daughter Lacey thinks so too.
yeah, you do. And I think people need to. You guys that are listening, look up Big John G. Watch him. Go to his shows. You have any other shows coming up that you'd like our listeners to know about that they can come see you?
Um, yeah, I got a couple. I just can't think of what town they're. They're down here in Texas, but
Okay,
I can't think of the name of the towns. But I do post about them on my social medias, mostly on Facebook. I'm not really on Instagram or X that much. I'm more on Facebook. So if you follow the Big John G page on Facebook, I'll post what shows I'm at.
excellent, man. You guys look him up. Go to his shows. He's fun to watch. He's like I said, if you love Big Boss Man, Big Hoss wrestlers, Big John G's one of the best ones I've seen so far in the Indies, and I really appreciate you being on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun talking to you, um, listeners. This is Stagger Lee, uh, and this show has been executive produced by Mims Haven, uh, and everybody watch out for Big John. Thank you again, Big John, and everybody just remember to keep wrestling in your heart. Thanks.